Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our daily get-together live here on Facebook every single day of the week, 10:30 in the morning, where we gather and exchange headlines, comments, stories, ideas, questions, and suggestions on how to really enjoy Puerto Vallarta at its fullest, being part of a community of English-speaking locals. That's who we are. That's what we do, and it's always a pleasure to get together here every morning and check out on everybody. I'm sitting here, of course, with my dear Luna, who is pruning or cleaning or doing whatever it is that she does. Hello, Luna. Are you going to chill or are you just going to make an appearance? There you go. Just chill. Luna helps me put together the show notes for you every time we're done with the broadcast. So if you have questions about bookmarks and web pages that you see during the show, you have nothing to worry about. We get those together for you and share them after the end of each show. If you are new, we'd love to hear that you're new. You can let us know by writing the word new in your comment. And if you have something specific that you would like for us to address, just add the letter Q and we will do our best to tackle it during the broadcast, and if not, shortly thereafter. And let's see who's in the house before we dive into our kidnapping news. There was a kidnapping going on in town this weekend, although we don't know if it was a kidnapping or not. You have nothing to worry about, but I will give you the information that we believe we know. And then we are also going to talk about, of course, we're going to talk about COVID-19. We get a new information from our governor every Sunday. And yesterday was not an exception. So we're going to tackle that. But before we do that, let me take a quick look as to who's here. Wonderful Raymond from Artisan Bakery. I had the unexpected the unexpected pleasure of bumping into Raymond 2 days in a row. First on Saturday at the Three Hens and a Rooster farmers market where I saw him successfully selling his bread and having a good time. And then I ran into him yesterday at brunch at Hotel Mercurio. So it's great. It was great to meet you in person 2 days in a row, Raymond. It's always great to connect with members of the community. Chicago is in the house. Emiliano Zapata's in the house. Of course, Minnesota's in the house. Claude is in the house. Good morning. And many, many, many friends. David is in a rainy and thundery south of Boston suburb. That brings me back some very, very distant memories. Jorge is in New York City. I'm sorry you missed yesterday's Sunday Fun Day, but I saw you giggle with your comments later on. It was really fun to read you. Good morning, Bet. Orange shirt, not today. It's a good day to go blue, but you know, it's time for me to go shopping for new shirts. Maybe I'll go to Walmart or someplace where I can buy inexpensive shirts. I was telling my friend Paul I have to go back to Guadalajara to shop for clothes. When I find clothes that I like, I usually buy 3 or 5 or 7 of the same color and the same kind, so I don't have to worry too much about color combinations. That's how fashionable I get. Let's see. Jill is at Daiquiri Dick's, one of the great restaurants here in Puerto Vallarta, having Eggs Benedict on the beach. What a great way to start the week, indeed. Let's see. Oh, this is a lovely headline. Good morning from Versailles, where my spouse just finished vacuuming one of the cats. I wonder how Luna would take to being vacuumed. She does get a little hairy during the summer. So, what do you know? Let's see. Lots of really fun friends. There's a question here. Does anybody know how to join details on the exercise class on the Isla Rio Cuela near the John Houston statue in the morning? I don't, James, but chances are that if you just show up and ask for information, you should be able to join on the spot. And that is just a hunch. I'm not speaking from experience, but I cannot imagine any kind of exercise class at the river being, or at the isla, at the island, being so unfriendly that they would not let you in on the class, or at least give you information on how to join. So I would simply go there, and I would love to hear how it went. Let's see what else we have. Bum 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 bum. Virus update, comma, thanks. Thank you, comma, Ted. We'll get to it in a second. Who's stalking who? Well, we're going to get to that in a second as well. Let's see. Anxious community wanting to hear all the news. Okay, so I'm caught up with your comments. Let us dive into the news. Of course, we will start with our governor and COVID 19 and what's going on. So let's just jump there. As usual, Governor Enrique Alfaro got in touch with our community and the whole citizenship of Jalisco through Facebook yesterday. Here's the message that he shared. He said, starting today, these are the parameters that Jalisco is going to be monitoring and sharing with you every Sunday. It is two very simple graphics. Number one, the percentage of occupation, hospital occupation in general. And number two, the percentage of occupation in intensive care units. In addition, in a third graphic, I show you how the number of active cases detected by Radar Jalisco, which is the official detection program, continue to be decreasing. The emergency button worked well and we're doing fine, but we cannot let go. In this new normality, we need to learn how to live without lowering our guard to decrease the risks, the number of cases, the number of deaths, and as long as we're at it, to continue reactivating our economy. Using a face mask as you should, avoiding gatherings, washing your hands constantly can make a big difference. Let us look after the life of those who look after ours. Let us look after your own life and those that you love the most. We know how to do it. Let's get to it. That is pretty much the tenor of what the governor had to do, or had to say rather. And let's take a look at these new graphics that he's sharing. I'm going to start with a third one, which shows us the number of active cases per week. The little numbers in the bottom here are week numbers. So we were at week number 45 when the emergency button was pushed. We are now at week 47. As you can see, that starting way back in June, the number of cases kept going up progressively until it peaked. And now, while we continue to be over 4,000 active cases, we are on a downward trend as far as active cases are concerned. And I must say that the number of active cases here in Puerto Vallarta is very low. I don't remember what the exact number is, but I think it is approaching single digits. It is definitely a low number. Now, here we are looking at the number of the percentage of occupation in public hospitals. And you can also see here's where the emergency button was pushed, and you can appreciate a downward tendency in terms of occupation in public hospitals. And here is the occupation of patients in intensive care units in public hospitals. So again, you can see when the emergency button was pushed, and you can see a very clear downward trend of people being hospitalized. So these are all good trends. It's good to see that things are not increasing in gravity, and they are obviously decreasing. So we know what we need to do. That hasn't changed a bit. And And those are the COVID news. Let me take a quick look at comments you may have about this before we move forward. La-da-dee-da-da. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, lovely. Enjoying toast made from Chilean bread from the Saturday market. Great with peanut butter and honey. I feel envious in the best possible way. James asks a big question. The majority seem to be people up on the Mirador in La Cruz. 90% seem to be local. Very few more masks. It seemed dangerous to me since people are breathing heavy up the stairs and there's no room for distance. It was my first time there, and I won't go back for the time being. Are people here being told it's not necessary to wear a mask outdoors? No, I think there's no specific guideline or specific sign anywhere that says, okay, starting on this point, you don't have to wear your face mask. I think it's one of those things, James, and I'm certainly not apologizing for people that I don't even know that were surrounding you, but I do find that when I'm out and about in the middle of nowhere, I tend to get more relaxed about my own face mask. I put it on when I see people coming towards me, and then I take it off or at least uncover my nose when I see that there's nobody around me. The bottom line, and this goes for you and for everybody, if you are walking towards a situation or a place where you think you're not going to feel safe, the easiest thing to do is to turn around. I haven't been up to the Mirador in a long time, up to La Cruz, so I've been tempted to go, and I kind of want to wait, or have been wanting to wait until the weather got better, and now is probably a good time to go check it out. So I'm going to have a look one of these days in the near future. Let's see. Yes, congratulations to PV for keeping their low COVID numbers at an incredible low. I wish I could say the same for Minnesota and the rest of the USA. Well, again, it is one of those things in which different governments have chosen to make different decisions, take different decisions. We are fortunate that despite some of the things that we may see out and about, the numbers speak for themselves. And I think when the numbers say that things are looking better in our state, I feel comforted by that. And I feel comforted by walking around Puerto Vallarta and knowing that the number of active cases in my city is very low. But that is certainly not an excuse for me or for anyone to relax the guidelines. The guidelines are so simple and we know them, so it shouldn't be that complicated for us to be wearing our face mask or keeping social distancing or avoiding crowded places. We know what we need to do and we know how to do it. So it's that simple. Now, moving on, there's another question. Dennis Crow posted a short music video taken at the arches of the Malecon, and I thought no large gatherings were allowed. Are they now? Well, here's the thing, Sherry. I know who Dennis Crow is, but he's not a credible news source as far as I'm concerned. He's a piano player with a personal Facebook page who's entitled to post whatever he wants. So if you see it on a Facebook page that is not a professional page, are we going to believe it? Well, you can choose to, but I'm suggesting that you don't. I don't know what Dennis posted. He's not a credible news source. I don't know if the video he posted was filmed yesterday or 312 days ago. I couldn't tell you. But I can tell you that no large gatherings are allowed at present time. And even though you can walk about the Malecon, the actual amphitheater is not being used presently. I think they opened it for the clowns to use, and then the clowns fucked up because they were not showing safe distancing, and it was taken away again. Let's see. Do I have a good source for PV specific numbers? I do not, and personally, I don't look for it, just because I know what I need to do, and I feel safe with the information that I have. Let's see. I am. Are there still rules concerning age? Yes. If you are a high risk person, if you have pre-existing conditions, and if you are expecting a baby, you should know better than to be in places where you might feel threatened. I don't know that there's specific guidelines at stores anymore. I haven't heard anything to that effect, but it's just a matter of checking that out. Let's see. Okay, let me continue with the information that I want to share with you. And the next is the strangest bit of news because an important businessman from Puerto Vallarta was reported as kidnapped yesterday. Apparently, Felipe Tomé was out having dinner on Friday night in Marina Vallarta, and as he was heading home north, his vehicle was intercepted. He was in the car with some friends and with a friend. One of them was the commercial manager of Bolongo, one of the developments that Felipe Tomé is responsible for. Uh, Felipe Tomé was, well, one of the people in the car was shot and killed. The man who was the actual director of this development. And then Felipe Tomé was picked up on another vehicle, and we all thought that he had been kidnapped. Um, or at least that was the way it was reported. You're probably wondering, well, who is this man? Who is Felipe Tomé? And Felipe Tomé, just so that you know, that's what he looks like. Felipe Tomé is a very important local real estate developer. He has been responsible for developing Plaza Galerías here in town. He is responsible for developing Peninsula and another development in Nuevo Vallarta. No, it's not Nuevo Vallarta. It's in Punta de Mita called Bolongo. And he has done a lot of developments here, there, and everywhere throughout Mexico. A lot of shopping centers like Central Park Querétaro, City Tower, Plaza Pabellon, Peninsula Tower, Puerto Vallarta, Peninsula Santa Fe in Mexico City. So he is a big wig real estate developer. So, of course, news of his disappearance made national headlines in no time at all. But the weird part was that the state prosecution office gave a press conference yesterday saying, oh no, he was not kidnapped, he simply disappeared. So apparently, there is a legal difference between being kidnapped and somebody else whisking you in a vehicle and taking you away. And I'm sorry to laugh a little bit, but because this is no laughing matter, it is just weird how the prosecutors have different technical lingo that makes a difference uh, between being kidnapped or not. Apparently, the latest news is that the vehicle that lifted Felipe Tomé actually lifted him to rescue him from God knows what. It is known that the man that actually was killed, the manager of one of his developments, was wanted in a different state. It is also known that Felipe Tomé has been involved in dubious and questionable businesses in their real estate projects around Mexico, and there are unsettled accounts here, there, and everywhere. It is also known that he has laundered money for Vicente Fox's wife. Vicente Fox having been the president of Mexico several presidential periods ago. And his name has also been tied with the Bahamas Papers, which is a big money laundering number of papers similar to the Panama Papers, where a number of important Mexican politicians have been involved. So, yes, it is a complicated situation, as Brian Simpson accurately comments. We don't know exactly how he is. We know that Felipe Tome was injured. There are some reports that he was spotted at the airport hopping on his own personal plane, but then this was denied by the prosecutors. So it is one of these legal, complicated, I owe you, you owe me kind of situation. Should you be concerned as a community? I don't think so. This is one of those things in which, as we say in Spanish, he has cola que le pisen, and that means that he has a tail that people can't step on. And the meaning of that phrase means that if you do certain things that shouldn't be done properly, your tail keeps getting longer and longer and longer, and sooner or later somebody's going to step on it. And this is what apparently has happened to Felipe Tomé. We hope that he's going to be okay. We feel sad for the well-being of the person that died, but again, going back to you as a community, to us as a community, do you have to worry about somebody just picking you up after having dinner at a restaurant? I certainly do not believe you have to worry about this. But let me very quickly look at your comments because I don't want this bit of news to make you all nervous and whatnot. Let's see. Shambadim bum 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 bibidim bim bim. Um, Sources for numbers. Excellent. This is wonderful. Um, for what it's worth, New York Times did a story last week stating that Mexico had about 6 times the COVID-19 numbers that they are reporting. Possibly. Again, Steve, I'm not going to agree or disagree with the New York Times, because even if the number was inaccurate, that does not change what we need to do every day to take care of ourselves. So, again, not to diffuse your comment or anything, for me, it always boils down to just how altered do I want to become in my well being by numbers that I cannot even control beyond what I can do to take care of myself. Um, let's see what else. Was he shot or just ran into a bullet per legalities? He was shot. There were a number of bullets that were fired. They found a bunch of them on the street. But now it's difficult to tell if whoever perpetrated this situation was actually going after Felipe Tomé, who's the boss, or were they going after his friend, the developer, the development manager, who apparently was wanted in a different state, and we don't know what he was wanted for. So, as usual, the prosecutor's office is being secretive, and we'll have to see what happens. We'll have to see what happens. Was he late on his payments? Probably. Um, can you show those words about the tail on my screen? Oh, gladly. Just give me 1 second. Where is my tiene cola que le pisen? There you go. He has a tail to be stepped on. And we all develop a tail. We all develop a tail as we grow older. We all have, good aspects of our lives and questionable aspects of our lives. Our tail grows longer than others. Some tails grow longer than others. Look at the tail that Lady Diana Spencer wore on her wedding day. That was a big tail. So, anyhow, let's see. The official case numbers are actually 8 times lower than the actual, according to the Mexican government. Why? The Sentinel method Mexico chose to use. Agreed again, but I insist. Do we want to let these numbers rule our lives? It's a personal choice. I choose not to let my life be overwhelmed by numbers I have very little control over. And that is my survival mantra. Moving right on with the news, I want to let you know that in case you are traveling north on Federal Highway 200 that will be heading up to Guadalajara and whatnot, please note that on the 24th, 25th, and 26th of November, that is tomorrow and the 2 days after tomorrow, the Federal Highway is going to be closed with only intermittent access, and this is part of the work that needs to be done to allow for the brand new highway to come in. Looking at this photograph right here in particular, this is the kind of work that needs to be done on the highway. I think they're going to be putting some suspension things, let's call them suspension chingaderas, over the highway. So there's only going to be intermittent access to the highway. The times during which you'll be able to go through the highway are listed on this article. But my bottom line is, if you need to drive north on the highway, I would choose to go north through the other highway, or I would choose not to go north at all, at least not during the next few days. And of course, I also want to let you know a little bit of more development. There were a lot of conversations in my circle about marijuana this weekend, given the fact that it's going to be legalized. And a lot of people are already thinking, what am I going to do? Where am I going to sell my baked cookies? And and so forth and so on. We are going to wait, of course, until we see exactly how the new guidelines are going to be unfold. But I was interested in this article by Mexico's Archdiocese, meaning that the Catholic Church in Mexico is now feeling a little bit concerned about these new guidelines because, according to the Catholic Church in Mexico, this is the access door for more dangerous and more addictive drugs. As I mentioned in the past, there's always going to be a mixed opinion about this whole business of legalizing cannabis in Mexico, and there are going to be some people that are for it, and there's going to be some people that are not for it. Let me see. Did you take video of going to the market this past weekend? Asks Carol. The answer is yes, Carol, and I haven't edited it yet, but I am going to. Well, it was Luna's idea, actually. Oh, she's gone. She's already collecting notes. Luna had this wonderful idea, and she said to me, Paco, well, why don't you institute Wednesday is for walking? And I said, Luna, what do you mean? And Luna said, well, Wednesday is for walking will be your reminder to always offer a walking tour on Wednesdays. And it will allow you to always get your ass in gear and make sure that you have some walking tour ready on Wednesday. And I said, Luna, what a wonderful idea. So Wednesday is for walking at Coffee and Headlines starting this week. So we'll make sure that on Wednesday we at least have one walking tour ready. And of course, if there are weeks in which we're out and about more than once, we are certainly going to be walking and doing video more than once a week. So I expect that we will do some market stuff either tomorrow, but if not tomorrow, definitely on Wednesday. We want those debating. Let's see. Oh, this is true. The numbers don't change our personal behavior, but helps us make decisions about plans for us and visitors. I respect that. I absolutely no problem. Um, Sorry. Thank you, Carmen. Me hiciste reír. Mexican church, I prefer weed smokers than child abusers. Oh, I'm not even going to touch that, but it is absolutely precious and beautiful. I love it. Thank you very much for your remark, Heather. Well, I mean, again, Heather, the beautiful thing about these projects is we have a destination, Puerto Vallarta, and we have a community, and we have all these tools at our disposal to exercise, connections and foster relationships and stuff like that. How could we possibly not take advantage of that? We are having a lot of fun doing this, by the way. Love the Wednesday is for walking plan. Thank you very much. Luna, everybody seems to like your idea. Good call. Thank you very much. And moving right along, let us dive into the weather because we've been going at this for a while. Bam. According to the weather, it is sunny in this region. They also found 6 local singles who want to meet you. Okay, I will handle that. I would love to meet 6 local singles. That's what Carrot Weather is saying. So I like that weather forecast. I hope that weather forecast is for me and for anyone that is looking to meet 6 local singles. It is 26 degrees right now, feels like 29 degrees Celsius. It is 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Humidity is up again, 72%. I don't know what's going on with humidity, but I do appreciate the fact that even when the humidity seems to be high, the walking around town is so wonderful. It really, really is. And I was so happy to go out walking this weekend for the farmers market, and I look forward to spending more time out and about. The weather forecast, humid throughout the day with a high temperature of 30. Tomorrow, humid throughout the day, same high temperature. And Wednesday, exactly the same. Humid throughout the day with a high temperature of 30. Gotta love it. It's that wonderful time of the year to be here in Puerto Vallarta. And you don't need me telling you that because you already know it. Let's see. Okay, let's move right along, and I want to give you a shameless plug for a dear friend and another dear friend. My dear friend Celeste Innocenti, who was actually the very first person that I interviewed here on Coffee and Headlines. She is a local actress, actor, vocal coach, diction specialist, and now, because of her Italian ancestry, Celeste has started this business with my next door neighbor called Della Nonna. And what it is well, let me explain it in her own words. I've started a new business here in Puerto Vallarta with my friend Dina, who's my next door neighbor, making brigidini, the traditional Tuscan cookies of my nonna. And my nonna has nothing to do with your Sharuna, by the way, or my Sharuna. My nonna, I imagine that means my grandmother. The aroma of anise reminds both of us of our grandmother, so I think that extra feeling of love and tradition helps to make them so delicious. And they are absolutely wonderful. I tried these new brigidini Tuscan cookies because my next door neighbor Dina brought me some the other day, and I want to share the new Facebook page for this venture that my dear friends have started. So if you are in the mood for some homemade Italian style cookies, this is the Facebook page that you can bookmark, and that way you will be enjoying something made with love and authentic, and something created by locals for locals. That is a shameless plug, but I wanted to share it with you. And let me answer a question as long as we're talking about shameless plug. The other day, not even 3 or 4 days ago, somebody looked at me with a smirky look and gave me a well. A well. And what I mean by a well, let me put it on the screen because it was not just a regular well. I got one of these wells. Hold on. There you go. I got a well. So a well with an H is kind of like, well, how dare you? I got one of those wells the other day because somebody said to me, well, you always seem to promote the same restaurants and the same businesses in your show. You must have a lot of favorites. Well, let me respond to that here. In case you were wondering, why is it that I always mention the same businesses and the same people here at Coffee and Headlines? And I am going to answer that question. Number one, it's people and businesses that I know. Number two, it's people and businesses that I trust. And number three, and perhaps this is the most important part, Luna mentions a lot of the same people because these businesses, these people have taken the time to become part of our community. These people like Raymond and his artisan bread, people like Michael and his restaurants, people like Kathleen and her ice cream. These are friends that have chosen to become a part of these conversations that we have every day. So they're part of the community. How could we not support and mention them? Do we get inquiries about other restaurants or other shops that say, hey, would you mention me in your program? You know, sometimes I go out and I'd love to mention things. When I hear of new businesses that have just opened, we love to go and explore those and give them a gentle welcome push for whatever it's worth so that they can do well. But the bottom line is we talk about people, businesses, and such because they have chosen to be part of this community. You cannot buy advertisement at Coffee and Headlines. You cannot buy your way into being promoted or mentioned here. All you have to do is join us. Tell us who you are. Tell us what you do. Share a little bit of yourself with this community, and this community will support you back. So this is why I take the liberty of mentioning our friends' cookies and all the businesses that that we talk about here. William says it's my program, and yes, it is, but it isn't. It is our community. I run the show, yes, but I ultimately want to share people that take the time to share time with you and with me here at Coffee and Headlines. So this is just the way we do it, and this is the way we're going to continue doing it. And with that said, we are at the end of today's broadcast. It was a great Monday. Was a great way to start the week. Community is key. I completely agree with Jeannie, and this is what we're trying to do here. Uh, and Sean says, "My day will come." Absolutely. I know that Sean has a restaurant. If I recall correctly, it's on Cinco de Diciembre, and I definitely want to go check it out because I've bookmarked it, but maybe as long as we're doing this, Sean, maybe you'd like to tell the community a little bit more about your restaurant because it is allowed. We would love nothing more than for everybody to toot their own horn. And I'm thinking about it. Maybe that's what we're going to do tomorrow. We haven't done this in a while. Tomorrow, let's do something that we did once before, which was just give us one sentence of who you are, who you represent, and share your Facebook page, and we will do that tomorrow. And that'll be a great opportunity to remind ourselves as to what everybody's doing and who everybody's doing, and you know what I mean. Anyhow, between today and tomorrow, is I'm grateful for having had the opportunity to starting the week today with you, and I am going to meet a fellow Coffee and Headlines friend later on today, someone that I have never met before, and that'll be fun and interesting. And then I have dinner with other Coffee and Headlines friends today, and I'm so very grateful that my social circle is also expanding a little bit. Thanks to the opportunity of connecting with you. Between now and the next time we cross our paths, have a lovely day. Stay happy, stay calm, stay well informed, and stay in touch. And I will see you again soon. Have a great beginning of the week.